And welcome back to another Tuesday night chit chat, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. The very first thing I need to do was I was unaware that last week was someone's birthday, and so I completely missed it. And I wouldn't miss her birthday for anything in the world. So happy birthday, Miss Evelyn. It may be belated, but it is with extremely well wishes. I hope you had a fantastic day and you have many more to come. So I deeply apologize that I missed that. In all honesty, Scott didn't tell me, so I blame Scott, 100%. Oh, speaking of, hey, Scott. Hey, Slyreader and crew. We back, baby. Yes, we are. Oh, look, Randy put up my store. Yeah. So I'm not really sure how the YouTube store works. They just kind of, I don't know, they just kind of prompted this. So I'm not even sure what is all up there. If it's everything from Fourth Wall brought in, or if it's just a few shirts. I don't really know how it goes, but hopefully we'll figure it out. I think I'm going to have to get on incognito because when it sees it's me, it doesn't give me the same information that it gives you guys. So let's see. On the second half of the show, if you would like to be live with Sly, here's the link in the description down below. Yes, thank you, Randy. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Tonight's stream will start shortly. We're started, I think. Uh, Randy's talking to Scott saying, I already ate, Scott, but did you bring dessert? Yeah, that's my favorite part of the meal is dessert. So it has been an interesting week. The rain has finally moved off. However, with the rain leaving, the 100-degree days have begun, and it is sweltering. And my son said he has never seen me this tan that he can remember in his lifetime. So when you work under fluorescent lights for years and years and years, you get a very pale pallor. And I actually am kind of sporting a tan. So yes, but it's hot, hot, hot. Uh, they brought everything. Okay. Who did? Flying Toast, hello! I'm so glad you came back. Hello, told you I'd try my best to catch the next live stream. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Uh, yeah, tonight's just kind of I've got one bag to show you, but other than that, it's just going to be kind of a free-for-all. Uh, I kind of have a little bit of a bag fetish thing going on here. Uh, any kind of bag, big, small, messenger style, sling bag, you name it. I like them all. And I got a new one this week. So I'm kind of stoked about that. Actually, one of my subscribers asked me to do a review on this bag. And the last time I had a subscriber ask me to do a review on a bag, that thing almost went viral. So, yes. Randy says YouTube brought all of your shirts. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Hats, sweatshirts, whole thing, or just t-shirts? I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, but um, it's just kind of cool. Roy says, I only have a lens fetish. Well, we all have to be into something, right? And Scott says, oh, that's sweet. She's 93 now. You know what? That is a huge accomplishment. And the wisdom of all the things that she's been through and she's seen. And I mean, my hat is off to, people older than me because I know I've been through a lot. And she's got 30 years on me. So uh, that's amazing. And she looks like she is still a go-getter. I would I wouldn't have been able to keep up with her 30 when she was my age, and I'm that age now. So if she was my age now, I wouldn't be able to keep up with her. Randy says, yes, they brought everything. Okay, that's cool. Because you never know. You never know how it's going to work. So, guys, this is a really kind of a cool bag. Now, it's not going to be for everybody. okay? Because it's very, very, very small. And you guys know I like small. So, yes, it will hold a full, well, it'll hold a mirrorless camera and point and shoot. I don't have a big DSLR anymore, so I don't, I couldn't really put that in there, but I think it would hold a big DSLR with a lens. Now, you may want to put the lens in separate if depending on how big the lens is, but isn't this cute? I haven't even taken my tags off yet. I just got it. I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit, and it's got some really it's a good size, okay? Because it's small enough, you can wear it and be walking around and you don't really notice it's there because you can't get enough weight into it to, you know it's there. Like some of my like the PGY Tech one mo light is so big, I can put so much gear in there, I can't carry it except from the car to the destination, right? So, but you don't want to carry that thing very long. And so since then, I have gone for the smaller and smaller and smaller. And I saw this, and one of my subscribers, like I said, kind of asked me to do a review on it, so I will. And I'm like, well, that's not bad. So, uh, Scott says, how does a strawberry shortcake ice cream sundae sound, Brother Randall? I think that sounds pretty good, actually, because I love shortcake. And Roy's talking to Randy saying, just to be pedantic, brought or bought? They brought. YouTube did not buy my t-shirts. They brought them over from Fourth Wall and apparently have put them down in like a little YouTube shop. So they actually sent me a questionnaire about this, and I didn't have any answers for them because I didn't know what it was. So they kind of got the cart before the horse a little bit on that one, but that's okay. So I'm going to show you this bag. Hold your ears. Everybody hold your ears because I'm not sure if Crisp is going to get all this out. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. And then I'm going to scoot it where you guys can see it. And look at that. It is tiny. Why is it so tiny? And what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Let's make that bigger. And it's round. Guys, yeah, I'm not really sure why it's round and bigger and all that good stuff. So let's go there. Okay. That I can live with, I think. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. It's still not right, but we're just going to go on. Okay. So this little bag holds basically a mirrorless camera, a lens, and then I've got my microphone, my DJI microphone thing. This is the original, but the Mic 2 is about the same size, and the Mic Mini case is a little bit bigger. So it'll fit a mic, a lens on the camera. Now, if you have a point and shoot, you could get something else in here as well. You could put your camera here, and you would have probably, what'd you say that is, 4 or 5 inches of space between the camera and here. Now, one of the things that I really, well, there's a lot of things I love about this camera bag, and there's two things that I don't like. It's got these pockets back here, which I like, right? I've got my SD card holder thing right there. And I don't have anything in this pocket, but you could put something flat in there. And then on the back, it's got a really quite nice zippered compartment where you could put your billfold and all that kind of stuff. So I will be doing a full review on this. I just wanted to give you guys first look uh, because it is kind of a cool bag. As as you can see, I have two of these generic camera dividers. Okay. This is the first thing I don't care for. This is what they sent. This is the divider. Now, a lot of people like these. I'm not one of them. It folds, okay, and then you have to figure out the camera, my camera anyway, is too, I don't know if you guys can see that. My camera is too short to sit like that. It's even with this, but this is lower. And so it's too short to sit like that. It's too tall to sit underneath it. So, and if you put it in there like this, just where it sits straight down, this would be on the floor and it doesn't reach that either. It still doesn't give it any support. So I'm not a fan of these. Now, a lot of people are, and that's cool. You know, get behind what works for you, right? So I have a bunch of these generic, they're very well padded, and the bag itself is fleece lined, like on all sides. So you can just put the dividers anywhere you want to. And if you have more than one camera bag, you probably have an abundance of these too, because you never use as many as what they send, right? So where am I at? Let's see if this works. Oh, it worked. We had some power outages today, so I did run a test before I came live, but you know how live streams are, right? Um, so I found that these work better for my use case. Now, I did play around with the action cameras, and all the gear fits except the stick, and it's too long, and there's no little loops under here to put it, underneath. So, but I guess if you're walking around with the camera in your hand, you wouldn't need to put it on the bag anyway. Now, a lot of times we're going, like, little man and I went to the nature center the other day, and I just had the camera on my backpack strap. Wasn't even holding it, it was just there. And it got some really good shots, And he didn't think about the camera because I wasn't holding anything. So that was really kind of cool. Randy, where you at? Randy says, Roy, brought and have not bought yet. Picture in picture, there you go. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. But, or fit a small flash. Yes, you could put a flash right there. Instead of a second lens or instead of a microphone, depending on, if you're out taking pictures, you're not going to need a microphone. If you're out doing video, you're not going to need a flash. So there you go. Now, I told you there was two things about this I didn't like. Well, one is the divider. The other one are these. Okay. So should have been a magnet. If they had just put a magnet across here and a magnet in the lid, it would have been so much nicer because that Velcro is the noisiest thing in the world when you're trying to be stealthy. I think Crisp will cut it out, I think, but this is that it's annoying how loud this thing is. I don't know. Let me just see if I can do this. Okay, now you should be able to hear it. Really? That right there is almost enough to make me say, pass. If they had put a magnet there, it would have been, I put it up. It would have been just, it would have caught by itself, and then it would have been quiet to open it. So I love magnets, and I don't know why people don't use them more because Velcro does wear out. And the thought process is by the time the Velcro wears out, you need to get a new bag anyway. And I get that. but a magnet sure would have made that bag a lot closer to perfect. I still wouldn't have liked the insert, but so, uh, Randy says, "How much moolah?" $26, my friend. $26 for a near perfect bag. Now, they say, excuse me, that this is supposed to be a 3-liter expandable to 4-liter. However, it's not really a complaint, but let's say you have extra equipment and you don't want the flap to go all the way down. Well, now you have little gappy gappies and your equipment is like would be right there. Not a fan of that. So we're going to say it's a 3-liter bag and leave it at that. If you need a 4-liter bag, buy a bigger bag because I'm going to say it's a 3-liter. When it's closed like it's supposed to be, it's closed. So, but I'm kind of opinionated about especially about bags. And so next time, Elonzi, you send an email to Slyreader and she will tell you, don't use Velcro. Just saying. Where are we at? Roy. Can you use polyethylene foam blocks instead? Yes. Polyethylene foam. Yeah. Roy, not 100% sure what that is. But if we take out the polyethylene and put in just foam blocks, yes. As you know, they would kind of need to have, here we go back to the Velcro again. They would kind of need to have the Velcro to stick to the inside. Now, I don't mind Velcro on here because I'm not moving it. I'm not opening it. These are going to stay put. But the Velcro to open a bag, it's very last year. Just saying. Those inflated plastic bags are great for filling up spaces. Yes. Yes, they are. Um, in a bag this small, though, you probably wouldn't need a filler. Even my action cameras, if I put both of them in here, that drives me insane. That may be a deal breaker. If I put both of and I don't have either one of them here, which is hugely unusual because usually I do. Let's see if this works this time. Ah, yeah, I did. Okay. If I put like I take the lens out, I'm still gonna have to have a microphone. But if I put the action camera, both of them in here, I actually have a little bit extra room. So yeah, but it's still a good size for, I think I'm the only person in this room that shoots with an action camera. But now the M6 Mark II is a very, very small camera. I think it's probably, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think it's probably smaller than the Panasonic that Randy has. It's just, you can tell it's not a very big camera. It's like a little bit bigger than a point and shoot, but not much. And you could, take the lens off so you could like store it and put a divider right up against, and then store the lenses separate. But I thought it would be cool to have it in the bag like this. That way you can just open the bag, hear that awful Velcro sound, and whip the camera out and start shooting. So, yeah, I really need to quit talking about the bag because the Velcro is annoying. Let's see. Sly, your background is the same to your foreground. Oh. Thanks, Randy. How many of these of me do I have up here? Okay. I have no idea. So it's not set up right, and I have a feeling it's because the electricity glitched so many times today. And I have no idea why, because there's not a cloud in the sky. There's nothing, no storms going on or anything. But when I turned on Ecamm, well, just like um, the overhead shot, I'm supposed to be able to go into the switcher and just throw that up there, and it's supposed to be there. And as you can see, it still has me in the background. So, yeah, I don't know what that's about. But that's what I probably did. I probably went when I switched and threw another one of me up there. So, thank you, Randy. Roy says, I love Velcro for waking people up. Yes, it is so hard to be stealthy when, rip. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I do love my bags that have the magnets. I've got some Belroy, I've got some alpaca that have a magnetic closure. And when you close it, all you hear is a little bitty click, little bitty click. But when you open it, you don't hear anything. That would have made this bag almost perfect. Save the divider. And I almost hate to shut it back up again because when I open it, it's going to go. Yeah. So, but the strap is good. I love the back pocket. It's actually got room for, it's not like a lens or anything that bulky, but that's quite a bit of space. Yeah. So, Yolan's a good job, except for the Velcro. And I know these are like the latest and greatest, and you guys probably love these little origami things. Well, okay, so here's a challenge for you. If you guys, anybody in here that loves these, am I doing it right? Is that right? Because that's the only way it looks like it would work. Because if you try to do it backwards, it doesn't work. And so, but when you bring these forward, that just automatically just. So I'm assuming that that's right. If you guys, anybody in here knows, and you're doing it wrong, Sly, okay, okay, I am willing to learn. But if that is right, that's wrong. So it's my two complaints about the bag. And they're not huge, but yeah. If they put a magnet in it, it would cost more. Up to $30. If they put a magnet in it, it would be worth $30. But I kind of, you're not having to buy Velcro, okay? So, and this is like a heavy duty Velcro. I mean, it does feel like it's going to last, but, and I know they did that because so it could be like expandable. Like you can put the Velcro anywhere on these strips and make it stand up. But I have a problem with my bag being open at the top. Like, like, well, like that. I don't like that. I want it to be closed. And it's higher back here than it is here. So when this folds over, it just it fits right. It looks right. The strap is good. That's a good strap. It's not the seat belt material that you see on a lot of the sling bags, but this is a nice strap. I did have a little bit, just a little bit of problem adjusting it, but it hasn't slipped at all. And I've kind of been, like I said, I haven't taken the tags off yet, so I haven't worn it out in public, but I have walked around the backyard with it, and I've kind of walked around the house with it just to see. Because one thing I dislike very much is when you get a strap adjusted and then you've been wearing it for a little bit, getting into it, getting out of it, and the strap loosens up on you. Now I have some backpacks by some very famous name brands that do that. And if you wear them very long, the backpack straps start loosening up and loosening up. Drives me nuts. So the strap does not loosen up at all. And it's kind of like, you set it and forget it. So I don't mind messing with something if it's a one and done deal. But if I have to adjust it every single time I wear it, that's kind of a deal breaker. So good strap. Uh, Randy said Ecamm Live had an update today. Yes, they did. Also, everyone using air conditioning plus the more draw of power, the glitches and power outages follow. Yes, they do. And this was way before noon. So it wasn't in like the heat of the day. And Ecamm did try to update, but I will never update on a Tuesday because something's going to go wrong. Roy says it might make a better hat, right? Yeah, well, no, it's a nice bag. It's a nice bag. Scott says the Alonzi bag is in my cart. Yeah, I mean it's perfect if you just carry like I said, a camera. It's very small and unobtrusive. That's what I like about it. And if you're in a noisy area, the Velcro is probably not going to bother you. But if they don't like you to take pictures of your children and grandchildren now at schools because you might get a picture of somebody else and you don't have their permission. It's completely, don't get me started on that one. Uh, so if you want to be really stealthy and open your bag and get your camera out and zoom in on little Johnny on the stage, you're not going to be able to do that because this bag is going to go rip and everybody around you is going to look at you going, what is that about? So yeah, but thank you, Scott. Randy says my Ecamm just glitched and added a camera A. Well, I did notice, and I did not let it update to my knowledge, but I did notice that before the the tags under the cameras on the switcher said, I think both of them said Ozbot 2 or Ozbot Meet 2 or whatever. Now they do say camera A and camera B. So maybe it did do something without my prior knowledge. Split screen and I didn't touch a thing. Yeah, well, one thing I did notice since I think it was since I updated the Mac system was that now when I turn on Ecamm, I'm not standing on my head. So I'm very happy about that. Before I was having to go in every single time because when it came up, everything would be upside down. And so I would just have to fix it. It was not a huge deal, but it is what it is. So now, since I updated the Mac, I log into Ecamm and everything comes up and I'm right side up. So that's kind of nice. Roy says loose straps. That's what duct tape is for. Yeah, on some of my backpacks. That one in particular. Uh, as you wear it they just loosen up and loosen up and loosen up. And there have been times, trust me, where I thought a little duct tape around those puppies would go a long way. I've even tried to roll the straps up and put them in a keeper, and they still loosen. So it is what it is. And Jim made it in here. Hi, Sly. Happy Tuesday and greetings from Washington, D.C. Greetings, Jim. I'm glad you made it. It's not quite as crazy as last week. Last week was, I don't know what happened, but apparently I got in YouTube's algorithm and we had everybody and their dog in here. A lot of people I had no idea who they are. Roy says upside down. An Australian must have written the software for Ecamm, right? Yeah, it was every single time I turned it on, even if I just turned it off for 2 minutes and went back in and turned it on, I'd be upside down again. So there was something that it didn't like because the cameras aren't upside down. They have a little dot, a little light that tells you which way up is. And the computer should have picked up on that anyway. So I don't know. Randy says, Ecamm mutes my camera scenes automatically, and I have to unmute. Frustrating doing videos and no sound. Yes, it would be. Now they don't, they, so I have seen set and locked for like the intro, and the microphone is muted. The speaking microphone is muted, and the music, what do they call that? Sound effects or movie? I think that's movie. Um, is clicked and that scene is locked. So because I don't want the microphone to be live during that opening whoosh of smoke and, all that good stuff. So, but I haven't noticed that they've been muting anything of late. So, and hopefully, now, did you update? Are these problems that you've encountered since you updated? Or are you resisting the updation like me? I don't even know if that's a real word, but it is now. Updation. And there's Miss Debbie. Hi, Sly. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? Haven't seen you in quite a while. She likes to travel. So Debbie gets in her car and they just go. And then they'll be gone for a week or so and then they come back and they rest and they get things washed and what have you and then they go again. So the wonderful life of retirement. Debbie loves to take pictures of sports. So, and Jeff made it in. G'day, Sly. Finally made it. How is all? All is good. We are in our full-fledged summer. I'm hoping that all the rain that was supposed to come in April and didn't come till May, I'm hoping it has kind of moved out. We had rain in May and June, so much so that it was hard to mow the yard. But now, because the rain has gone, the heat has come in and said, howdy doody. Yeah. So it has been just sweltering lately. But that's okay, because in the winter it's freezing. And so in the summer, you need some of that to kind of thaw your bones out. Randy says, this is happening before the update, and I have the latest version for Ecamm. Okay. So I don't know what version they wanted me to update to, but it did come on when I turned the computer on, like at 7:30 or whatever time I came in here. So I will update, but it will not be tonight. And Flying Toast said, I could have said a better hello earlier. Hello from Cochise County, Arizona. Loving the live stream so far. Thank you so much. Are you like the rest of the crazies in here and you're a camera nut, or are you like me and a bag nut, or what is your thing? Randy says, Flying Toast, are you melting there? Right? Arizona is hot, but it seems like it's a drier hot. So in Oklahoma, it's like when you go into a sauna and that guy's over there spritzing the lava rocks with water and making it a really moist, wet heat. That's Oklahoma. Yeah. The humidity with the heat is just stupid. Randy says 4.4.6 version now. I honestly, I don't know what I'm running and I don't know how to look on the fly. So, I don't know where that would be. So, but they did want me to update it. So, and Scott says, Miss Evelyn says, you look very nice. Well, uh, thank you. Thank you very much. I actually had a little bit of a catastrophe on, I believe it was Sunday. I wanted to add an overhead light because when I'm doing my desk shots, which that still is not right. Can I not make that bigger? I don't know what it's doing, but I can't make it. I'm not gonna play with it now, but it doesn't seem like I can make it bigger. But anyway, when I'm doing my overhead shots, this was very dark. And there we go. And so I would have like a light sitting on the desk pointing downward. Well, it wasn't ideal. And Randy has these really cool lights. And so I thought, So I didn't get exactly one of those, but I did get kind of the same thing. And here's the problem. I'm going to show you guys because you guys are my family and I love you. So I'm going to show you guys the problem. So if I turn this on, guess what? It lights up like from here down. So my shirt's really in the light and it's bright and it looks great for the overhead. It lights it up just as much as I'm lit up, and that's fantastic and great and all that. But I'm in the shadows. So, which may not be a bad thing. Okay, all things considered, it may not be a horrible thing, but yes, I'm in the shadows. So, I just decided for the live stream to leave that off. But anyway, I mounted a light overhead. Okay. Now, as most of you guys know, I have a bar that stretches from one side of the room all the way to the other. It's like a 12-foot something bar. And it's pretty good size. Okay. And it's a pressure fit, like a shower curtain rod. Okay. And I've never had a problem with it. Well, when I put that light up there, all of a sudden I had three, I don't have them here, but I have a lot of those magic arms where they like bendy, bendy, bendy. And so I had three of those up there, and all of a sudden it was making the bar roll. So I'm like, okay, I can just get up there and reposition where the clamps are, and everything will be fine. So I did that. Had to get the ladder because it's way above my head. Had to get the ladder, climbed up the ladder, got everything, and it rolled again. So now I'm sitting here and I'm looking up there, and I'm a reasonably intelligent person and I can fix almost anything. So I'm really eyeballing this solution. And I thought, okay, if I move the bar this way and the things are hanging straight down, they shouldn't roll, right? So I get on my ladder, take my ladder over there, and I move that bar. And when I move that side, guess what happened to this side? It tried to fall down. So that was like a moment of sheer panic because my computer screens are over here. You know, the bar has a camera and lights, and there's just, yeah, if that bar falls, it's a big deal, right? So with every ounce of strength in my body, and now mind you, I'm up on the ladder. I am trying to grab this bar and save it from falling on my computer. And I did. Now there's also like a shelf on this wall. And so I got it to where it was sitting on the shelf, which was fine. Okay. And then I put this one up where I wanted it. And I took my ladder, came down the ladder, took my ladder, came back over to the side. Well, I couldn't reach where it needed to go. So, needless to say, 4.5 hours later, I did take down one of the things and I used one of my infamous Sly bars that has the two where you can put like two cameras on it for comparison videos. Well, I used that and I put a camera and a light. So now there's only two things up there. And lo and behold, I put one of the clamp thingies facing this way and the other one facing this way. So now they can't roll without, you know what I'm saying? Because there's about equal weight on both of them. And so they keep each other from rolling. So, yeah, that was my excitement for the weekend was having to catch that bar and so in addition to that, I set up the overhead light. I have my two big lights and then I have two other lights because I want my background to be kind of dark, but I still want you to be able to see the bags. So there you go. Let's see. Flying Toast says to Randy, not this week. The sky teased us with rain today, but it's a dry heat. Yes. It's not like being in a sauna like Texas and Oklahoma. Texas is just as bad, Randy. So I know you're burning up down there. And if I remember right, you have your AC set at like 80? Hot. Randy says Ecamm Live tab. And about Ecamm Live will show you the current version. Okay. Well, let's just see what it says. 4.4.5. You're so smart. Thank you. Roy says a wall spreader. No, it's like I mean, this is kind of what it's for, I think. It may be for like using a curtain to divide a room or something. I'm not 100% sure. But it does span over 12 feet and I have had this up since I moved here. So it's been almost a year. And I've never had an issue with it until I tried to put another clamp up there. So you can't put too much stuff up there. Flying Toast says, Sly, I'm neither a camera nut or a bag nut, but it's fun learning. I like today's bags, but I'm 100% with you on the magnets point. Yes. Yeah, this Velcro is very 90s. You know, I don't know when they started using magnets, but that was like somebody said, "Oh, well, let's put a magnet in there," and everybody else ran with it. And that person, whoever thought, the first person that thought, "Let's put a magnet on a bag," they should be the wealthiest person in the world because that was a fantastic thing. And Carlos made it in. How you doing, Carlos? What's up, fam? Hope everyone's well. Well, everyone on this side of the pond is good. Or I guess the river, right? Is There's not a river between it, there's mountains. Okay, everyone on this side of the mountain is good, Carlos. How are you guys doing? Because I really did think about you. I saw just a little bitty bit of what was going on out there, and it didn't look good. Um, and so I was concerned about you. So I hope you're doing well. Whoa, where'd I go? There I am. I hit the wrong thing. Uh, Roy says, I've been moaning for them to make them bars square or hex-shaped for years. Yeah, it was quite the ordeal. And had they been square or hex shape or, you know, anything with sides rather than round, that problem would not have existed because this camera is on one of them articulating arms. I think they call it a magic arm. But it is on a, y'all know I have two monitors for each computer. And on this one, it's one monitor stand with two arms, and the arms are like a rectangle. And so this one is on the rectangle arm, and then it sneaks down under the monitor and comes back up. So they these are supposed to be webcams, but the bracket that they send, I don't even know. Oh, it's on that light. Um, it puts it at the top of the monitor. Well, the top of my monitor is up. It's up pretty high. And so if you were to put a camera up there, it would be like you were, I don't know, looking at the top of my head. Yeah, just not really good. So keep moaning, Roy, and maybe it'll change the world one day, but I'm I'm probably not going to be holding my breath. Uh, Scott says bag nut sounds a tiny bit better than bag lady. Bag queen? Yeah. But I'm kind of nutty myself, so it's okay. And Scott says, I'll remove myself now. No, Scott, you're good. You're good. Stay, buddy. And Carla says, Sly, I'm visiting my friend in Edmond in 2 weeks, planning on doing some house hunting. We will see. So, would you and Meg be up for a coffee or something? I don't know what days you're going to be there. Shoot me an email and I will get back and we will try to coordinate it so I can actually meet you. That would just be too cool. Um, I I can be in that area on a Friday or a Sunday. So if that works, and if not, I could probably be there on a Monday or Wednesday, or probably not a Tuesday. But yeah, Randy says it's set for 84 degrees. 165 for the past month. At least I'm not paying 600 a month like my neighbors. That's true. But now during the day, the heat really doesn't bother me and I don't really think about it too much as long as I'm not, sitting here just dripping sweat. But at night, I need it a little cooler, like a whole lot cooler, like a refrigerator. Yeah. So I can't sleep when I'm hot. So I do turn it down, which is kind of nice because it's cooler outside. So I do turn it down 2 degrees at night so I can sleep. And my electric bill, I couldn't even tell you what it was. I don't think it was very much. So this little duplex is really well insulated. Roy says C-stands have the same problem. Either tighten to crush levels or let the gear slip around. Yes. I looked at a C-stand before I got this bar. And so you guys know I'm OCD about my cables, cable management. Yeah, okay. Well, that includes tripod legs. Okay. At the old place, I had 3 tripods mounted and I had gear on the tripods, and I could do that here with the lights. Now I do have, because I have filled this room with furniture to the point of bursting. And so I have a little bitty short light stand. And so I have a big light on top of an armoire that's, you know, I don't know, there's probably 2.5 feet between the top of the armoire and the ceiling. And it's filled up with a big, huge light. And then I do have a light stand over here on the floor. And that's the only thing I have on the floor. Everything else is mounted from up above. And that came about because for my desk, I have these plastic tables, and uh, Chris won't let you hear that. But anyway, um, if I hit the table, it was it was either coming through in the microphone, or because I did try the low profile microphone mount. I did try those, and I think I have tried everything. And this is the best system that works for me, right? Because I do wave my arms around a lot, and and I do hit the desk occasionally. And so to get everything up off the desk, not have any cords on the floor, not have any tripods on the floor, this is the best system I found. Okay? And it's not because I have a 5-year-old running around. I just don't like to see the mess. And so now all my cords are, y'all are going to think I'm really silly, but all of my cords they're all zip tied with those, not zip tied, those little Velcro ties. And I usually have a ton of them. I'm looking around the desk because I always have some here somewhere, but except today. But anyway, everything has got those Velcro ties on it. It's tied to the pole. It's tied down the wall. And then when it gets to the desk, it's tied to the desk. And so there's just a couple of cables running down to like a power outlet, right? So I'm not tripping on anything. There's nothing under my feet. It's just, yeah, but that's just my OCDness. So the C stands would have been the same problem as the tripod. It would have been more clutter on the floor, and which would have driven me crazy. So Carlos says, definitely, Sly, let's do that. Yeah, that would be awesome. Royce says, yesterday they changed the windows in the main living area to double glazed. Wallet is still recovering. Yes, and probably will be for a little bit because they are not cheap. And that was one thing in my old house. It had the original 1955 windows, and I had gone through, there was 27 windows in that house. And I had gone through and replaced 6, and I had two more bought that I never got to install. So that's 8 out of 27. Yeah, still a long way to go. So whoever buys a house, they can replace the windows. Flying Toast says, I do welding in Arizona, so as long as I'm not in the sun, I'm in great shape as far as the heat goes. Yeah, well, welding is hot enough, right? I years ago, 20 years ago, I took a welding class, and I actually was pretty proficient at it. And I took it because I was bored, and that was the one thing I didn't know how to do. And I love building things. Okay, so I took this welding class, and I got pretty good at it. I wasn't like sparks, weren't burning me or anything like that. And it was the middle of summer, and it is hot and humid here, right? And now I was stick welding. Okay, had my hood on, but I got hot. And you have these big old gloves on, and you have the hood on, and it's miserable if it's really hot. So anyway, I had on a what do they call them, wife beater tank tops under my shirt. So I took my shirt off, and I finished welding for about 2.5 hours. Okay. Now, Flying Toast knows where I'm going with this. If you guys have never welded, the reason you wear a hood is because of the flash. Okay. So I didn't get sparks from the metal or, from the welding, but because of the flash, I was completely sunburned to a crisp. I will never do that again. But yeah, it was humorous, but you don't feel yourself burning because it is so bloody hot out. So you don't feel, like when you're out in the sun, you get a sunburn. It's hard to gauge how much you've burned because you don't feel it right then. But about 6 hours later, yeah, I was feeling it. Yeah. So I learned my lesson. Don't weld without long sleeves, full shirt. Yeah. So I don't really weld anymore, but I did. And at the time, I loved it to pieces. And it's just, yeah, I'm just in a different place right now. And I just don't really do any of that stuff I used to do. So, all right, guys, I am so sorry. It is like almost 10 o'clock, and I have just rattled and rattled and rattled. If anybody wants to come on live, uh, I'll go another 30 minutes. Uh, the link is in the description below. And if anybody wants to come in and say hey to everybody, come on in. Uh, it's I'm not doing anything. So with this light overhead and this really white hair, It kinda I have to really watch where I sit because this white hair is like a beacon, right? Um, Flying Toast says, "I knew exactly where you were going. I've made that mistake so many times, you'd think I'd have learned by now." Yeah, it just took one for me, right? Uh, because I don't have dark skin. I'm very kind of fair, but I tan. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, here. Yeah. No, you can't really tell. Anyway, I tan pretty good. And so I really, yeah, but no, I actually blistered. It's funny now. Jeff says, I'm with Sly. I cannot have leads all over the place. I go nuts with when I need, with the need to order. That's my OCD kicking in. Yes, it is. Everything needs to be in order and hidden. Zip ties are a gem. Jeff, I used to use zip ties, and now I wish I had one. Oh, I do. I do, said Slay. Hey, look at this. So these are Velcro. See, I do like Velcro, just not on the bags. Okay. Because you can wrap your cables in these. Voila. You can cinch them tight, and then the Velcro sticks, and your cables stay in place. And I have these, all my wires. Uh, I I was buying them in bulk from Temu, but now that the tariffs have gotten so high, thankfully I'm stockpiled for a little while. But with the zip ties, yeah, they will hold your stuff in place. But then if you want to move or change something, you have to cut them. Now, somebody was telling me you can put a little bitty teeny tiny screwdriver in the head part of the zip tie, and it will release and you can open it that way. I've never been able to do that. So I don't know if it works or not. It may work for you guys, but I've never been able to figure that out. So these things are stupid cheap. I think Amazon has them, but they're not quite as cheap because they've probably already paid the tariffs. But I use these things all over the place. And I don't have another one up here. I was going to show, well, is that one? Nope. I was going to show you, um, you can take two of these like a zip tie and feed the tail into here and make it longer. So if you have to go around something big, you can just add another one to it and it does the same thing. So these are fantastic and I use a lot of them. So see, I'm not anti-Velcro. I'm just anti-Velcro on this bag. So let's see. Jeff says, maybe next time. I'm not up to it today. Still getting over being sick. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were sick. I hope speedy recovery, buddy. Um, Thank you for coming in, even though you're not feeling well. Roy says, I never had a welding tan, but grinding afterwards shirtless, and I didn't need to shave my arms or chest. Right? Yes. That's another one of those things that you wear with full body armor. And Flying Toast says, I'm with Sly and Jeff on cord coordination. Yeah, it's a thing. I had a meeting with a lady a couple weeks ago, and she had two. I'm sitting on, in front of her desk, and she had two computer screens facing her, and the entire time I was gnawing on the inside of my mouth because her cable management was atrocious. And I just wanted to tell her, if you'll give me 5 minutes, I will have this nice and neat. But sometimes you have to keep that at home. Otherwise, everybody thinks you're kind of a fruitcake, which if they know me long enough, they know I am. So, it's all good. They are neat. Yes, they are neat and tidy. Keeping the temperature here at 76. I could be comfortable at 78 if I'm not moving. Yes, and it does help if there's a breeze. Now, Scott, you live way up north. I don't think you have the humidity that Randy and I have because it's when it gets to be 100 degrees and the humidity's high, it's hard to breathe. And so you tend to stay inside where there's air conditioning, and air conditioning means it filters all that humidity and stuff out, or it tries to. So, yeah, it's brutal. Now, they do I have heard that you're not supposed to play with the thermostat. You're supposed to find somewhere to put it and leave it there, and that the your utility bill will be cheaper. Well, okay, I'm still going to turn it down at night. So, because if Sly didn't get enough sleep, she's not a nice girl the next day. Roy says, can you melt some of the Velcro with a soldering iron? I don't know. I have a heat gun. Take all the equipment out and put a heat gun on it. I don't know. But yeah, that is just, and I understand why they made it like, I mean, that's a lot of Velcro. That's like overkill. And I understand why they did it because, they want you to be able to position it anywhere you want to, but that's a lot of Velcro. So it's just noisy and annoying, and I'm just really not digging it. So this Velcro doesn't bother me a bit. So I don't know if Chris probably will not pick this up. Okay, I'm going to turn off Chris because I'm annoying. Okay. So now Crisp is off. Okay. Now this is Velcroed. Okay. Now you ready? Ready? Right by the microphone. Did you hear that? You want to hear it again? Huh? Okay. Now you ready? Now if you're wearing earbuds, take them out. Okay. It's annoying. Okay, I'm going to turn Chris back on. I'm through. Sorry about that. Roy says, I'd love a fake Billingham bag, belt and buckle. I am not familiar with a Billingham bag. Uh, is that kind of like the, is it Terry-on? Is that what that one is? Randy and I have the same bag? I don't know. I would have to look up a Billingham bag. Jeff says it gets very hot in Brisbane. Yes, I think Australia gets very, very hot. We are now in winter. Where I am, it's not cold, but just very nice. I love it. In summer, we have the aircon on. Yeah. So, um, we don't really have, usually, we don't have what I would call a harsh winter. I mean, it's worse than Arizona. Okay. It's Texas is probably pretty close to us as far as what we get, but we really only have 2 or 3 days of snow. So, I really can't complain about the winters. I do, but I shouldn't. Yeah. So, Randy says, expensive bags. Good night, everyone. Have a great week. Cheers. Good night, Randy. Thanks so much for coming in and being one of my moderators. I really appreciate it. Scott, you do a fantastic job. Randy does a fantastic job. Thank you guys for kind of having my back, watching out for me. And nobody has tried to come in, so I'm going to say goodnight too. And thank you so much, guys, for coming in, spending your Tuesday night with me. And I will have a review of this bag up soon, but I wanted to show it to you guys first. kinda let you in on the what's coming up type thing. And, everybody have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Good night, everybody.